Most people lose the day before the sun ever rises. Not because they are weak, because they never claim the first hour as their own. There is a version of you that wakes up before the noise begins, before the messages, before the demands, before the world starts pulling at your attention like 100 hands asking for a piece of your life. That version of you is not more talented, not luckier, not born with some rare kind of discipline. That version of you simply made a decision to stop giving the best of themselves to everything except their own future. 5 in the morning is not a magic number. It is a meeting. A private meeting between who you have been and who you are willing to become. And for many people, that meeting is uncomfortable. Because when the room is quiet, you can hear the truth. You can hear the goals you keep postponing. You can hear the promise you made to yourself last year. You can hear the voice that says, you know you are capable of more. That voice can hurt. It can bring regret with it. Regret for the hours spent distracted. Regret for the opportunities you did not prepare for. Regret for the conversations you were too afraid to have. Regret for the dream you kept calling unrealistic because admitting you wanted it felt too vulnerable. Maybe you know that feeling. You look at your life and think, how did I get here? Not because your life is a disaster, but because somewhere along the way you became too familiar with almost committed, almost ready, almost confident, almost changed, and almost is one of the most dangerous places a person can live. Almost gives you enough comfort to stay still, enough hope to keep talking, enough excuse to avoid becoming accountable, but there comes a moment when you must stop negotiating with the life you know you do not want. There comes a morning when you must sit up in the dark, put your feet on the floor and say, this is where it changes. Not all at once, not perfectly, but deliberately. The 5 a.m. mindset is not about proving that you can survive on less sleep. It is not about posting a picture of a clock. It is not about trying to look tougher than somebody else. It is about self-respect. It is about telling yourself through action, my life matters enough for me to prepare for it. Because every morning you keep one promise to yourself, you repair something inside of you. Every morning you rise when you said you would rise. You build trust, and trust in yourself is not built by motivation. It is built by evidence. You do not become confident because you repeat beautiful words in a mirror. You become confident because you watch yourself do hard things. You become confident when you are tired and still show up. When nobody is clapping and you still work. When nobody would know if you quit and you continue anyway. That is where the 5 a.m. mindset begins. In the unseen hour. In the hour that asks nothing from you except honesty. Will you do what you said you would do? Will you keep your word when the bed is warm, the room is dark, and nobody is there to pressure you? Will you lead yourself? Because life will eventually test every person. There will be storms. There will be seasons when the plan falls apart. Seasons when money is tight, when your heart is heavy, when the people you thought would support you do not understand you, when you do everything right and still wait longer than you expected. And when those storms arrive, motivation will not be enough. Motivation is a feeling. Discipline is a decision. Motivation says, I will do it when I feel ready. Discipline says, I will do it because I decided this matters. Motivation is easy when the music is loud. Discipline is what remains when the room is silent. Motivation can start a journey. Discipline is what carries you when the journey becomes real. That is the core of the 5 a.m. mindset. Discipline, not punishment, not misery, not forcing yourself to become cold. Discipline is self-respect with a schedule. It is the ability to choose what matters most over what feels easiest now. It is saying no to the moment so you can say yes to your future. It is not glamorous. Sometimes it looks like getting out of bed when you would rather stay in it. Sometimes it looks like reading 10 pages instead of scrolling for an hour. Sometimes it looks like saving money when everyone else is spending. Sometimes it looks like practicing when no one is watching. Sometimes it looks like going for a walk when your mind wants to sink into another excuse. But do not underestimate these small decisions. A life is not usually destroyed in one dramatic moment. And it is not usually rebuilt in one dramatic moment either. A life is built brick by brick. One promise, 1 hour, one choice, one morning. One brick does not look like a house. One workout does not look like strength. One page does not look like knowledge. One difficult conversation does not look like a healed relationship. But keep laying the bricks. Keep laying them when the weather is bad. Keep laying them when you cannot yet see the structure. Because the person who lays one brick every day will eventually stand inside a life that once seemed impossible. And the person who waits for perfect conditions may spend their whole life standing in an empty field, holding plans they never built. You have to understand this. Your future is not asking you to be extraordinary every day. Your future is asking you to be faithful to the ordinary things. Wake up, drink the water, move your body, sit with your thoughts, write the plan, do the work, keep the promise, repeat. That is not boring. That is power. The world celebrates the finish line because it is visible. But the real transformation happens long before the applause. It happens at 5 a.m. It happens in the quiet. It happens when your old identity says, skip today, and you answer, not this time. It happens when you stop seeing discipline as something you have to suffer through and start seeing it as a gift you give yourself. A gift of direction, a gift of peace, a gift of proof. Think about how much energy it takes to disappoint yourself over and over again. Think about how exhausting it is to make plans, break plans, make promises, break promises, dream big, then shrink back. That cycle drains the spirit. It makes you question your ability. It makes you speak softly about things you were once excited about. It makes you hide your goals because you are afraid someone will ask how they are going. But you do not have to live trapped in that cycle. You can break it tomorrow morning, not by changing your entire life before breakfast, by changing one decision. Get up when you said you would get up. That is it. Do not make it complicated. Do not build a perfect routine that lasts 3 days and becomes another reason to criticize yourself. Build a real routine, a routine that can survive your actual life. Start with a time that challenges you but does not destroy you. If 5 a.m. is your target, prepare for it the night before. Discipline does not begin at 5 a.m. It begins at 9 p.m. It begins with the phone placed outside the room. It begins with the clothes laid out. It begins with the water ready. It begins with knowing exactly what you will do when the alarm sounds. Do not leave your morning in the hands of a half-awake version of yourself. Decide before you are tired. Prepare before you are tempted. Make the right action easier than the wrong one. That is wisdom. When the alarm rings, do not begin a debate. The debate is where most dreams lose. Your mind will make a convincing case for comfort. It will say, you need 5 more minutes. It will say, start on Monday. It will say, you had a hard day. It will say, one missed morning does not matter. And one missed morning is not the end of the world. But listen carefully. The danger is not one missed morning. The danger is the story you tell after it. The danger is deciding that because you slipped, you are the kind of person who always slips. No, you are a human being learning to become reliable. If you miss the alarm, get up anyway. If you oversleep, do not surrender the whole day. If you fail for a week, begin again on the 8th day. Discipline is not perfection. Discipline is return. Return to the plan. Return to the promise. Return to yourself. The strongest people are not people who never struggle. They are people who refuse to let struggle become an identity. They say, I had a hard week, but I am not a hard case. They say, I made a mistake, but I am not my mistake. They say, I lost momentum, but I have not lost my direction. That is strength, not loud strength. Not performative strength, quiet strength, the kind that gets up, the kind that starts again, the kind that does not need an audience to believe in its own potential. At 5 a.m., you are not competing with anyone. You are meeting the person you could become if you stopped abandoning them. And maybe that sounds intense. Maybe you are thinking, I have responsibilities, I have children, I work late, I am already tired. Then hear this clearly. The 5 a.m. mindset is not worshiping a clock. It is protecting a sacred appointment with your own growth. For some people, that appointment may be at 5 a.m. For others, it may be at 6 a.m. For someone working nights, it may be a different hour entirely. The principle remains the same. Claim an hour before the world claims you. Claim an hour where you are not reacting. You are creating. Claim an hour where you are not consuming everybody else's life. You are building your own. That hour can change everything because it changes who is in charge. Before, your day may have started with notifications, bad news, demands, comparison, and panic. Now your day starts with intention, with breath, with movement, with learning, with planning, with prayer, if that grounds you, with silence, if that heals you, with focused work, if that moves your mission forward. You do not need to do all of it. You need to do what makes you stronger. Here is a simple way to begin. The night before, write down one clear reason you are waking up early, not 10 reasons. 1, I am waking up to write. I am waking up to train. I am waking up to study. I am waking up to build my business. I am waking up to get my mind back. Make it specific. A vague purpose creates a weak morning. A clear purpose gives your feet a reason to touch the floor. Then, when you wake up, do not reach for your phone. Do not let strangers enter your mind before you enter your own life. Drink a glass of water. Stand by a window or step outside for a moment. Let your body understand that the day has begun. Then move for 10 minutes. Walk, stretch, do push-ups, dance in your kitchen if you need to. You are not trying to become a machine. You are telling your body, we are awake, we are here, we are moving forward. After that, sit down with a notebook. Write 3 things. First, what matters today? Second, what could distract me today? Third, what is one action I will complete before noon? That is how you turn intention into direction. Then give yourself a block of focused work. 20 minutes, 30 minutes, an hour if you can. No switching tabs, no checking messages, no searching for a better mood. Just work. Focus is a form of respect. When you focus, you tell your dream, you are not an afterthought. When you focus, you tell your future, I will not keep feeding you leftovers. And that focus may feel difficult at first. Of course it will. Your attention has been trained to scatter. You have been taught to respond instantly, scroll endlessly, compare constantly, and confuse being busy with being productive. But your attention is precious. Your attention is your life in its most usable form. Where attention goes, your days go. Where your days go, your life follows. So guard it. Do not hand it away so cheaply. There are people who will spend years saying they do not have time when what they truly do not have is boundaries. They give time to every interruption, every notification, every opinion, every invitation that pulls them farther from what they say they want. And then they wonder why their dreams feel far away. Your dream is not always far away. Sometimes it is buried beneath your unprotected attention. The 5 a.m. mindset gives you a shovel. It helps you clear away the noise. It helps you remember what matters. It gives your deepest work a place to live. And yes, there will be sacrifice. Let us be honest about that. You may have to leave the party early. You may have to stop saying yes to every late night distraction. You may have to disappoint the version of you that wants comfort, entertainment, and approval all at once. You may have to become less available to chaos. That is not selfish. That is responsible. Every meaningful life requires a few brave no's. No to staying up for no reason. No to habits that make you feel empty afterward. No to relationships that only appear when you are trying to grow. No to the voice that says your purpose can wait. Your purpose has waited long enough. You do not have to hate where you are to decide that you are ready for more. You can be grateful and still grow. You can love people and still create boundaries. You can rest and still be disciplined. You can be afraid and still move. That is important. Do not wait for fear to disappear. Fear often does not leave before action. Fear learns to become quieter after action. The first early morning may feel heavy. The second may feel inconvenient. The third may feel slightly less foreign. Then one day something shifts. You wake up before the alarm, not because you have become perfect, but because your mind has begun to trust your direction. You begin to feel the difference between a day that happened to you and a day you helped shape. You begin to carry yourself differently. You speak differently. You make decisions differently because you have proof that you can lead yourself. And self-leadership changes everything. It changes the way you walk into rooms. It changes how you handle rejection. It changes what you tolerate. It changes how you speak to yourself after a setback. You stop begging the world to validate you because you have learned how to validate your own commitment. You stop needing every person to understand your vision because you are busy honoring it. You stop waiting for a rescue because you have become someone who shows up. That does not mean you will never need help. Ask for help. Learn from people. Accept support. But do not outsource your responsibility. Nobody can wake up for you. Nobody can make the difficult call for you. Nobody can study the material for you. Nobody can build the habits your future requires. People can inspire you. People can guide you. People can stand beside you. But the decision is still yours. The mountain does not move because you complain about the climb. It does not lower itself because you had a difficult childhood. It does not care how many times you told yourself you would start tomorrow. The mountain asks one question. Will you take the next step? Not the whole climb. The next step. And that is good news because you can take the next step. You can get out of bed. You can drink the water. You can write the page. You can make the call. You can open the book. You can train for 10 minutes. You can apologize. You can apply. You can begin. The next step is always smaller than the fear makes it seem. Do not let your mind turn a single step into a lifetime sentence. You are not being asked to have your entire future figured out by sunrise. You are being asked to become a person who honors the sunrise with action. There is something deeply powerful about meeting the morning before the world becomes loud. The air feels different. The silence feels honest. No one is demanding that you perform. No one is telling you who to be. You are alone with your choices. And in that space, you can remember something important. You are not behind because your journey does not look like someone else's. You are behind only when you keep refusing to begin. Comparison is a thief, but it is also a distraction. It keeps your eyes on another person's path while your own path waits beneath your feet. You do not need their pace. You do not need their personality. You do not need their audience. You need your next disciplined decision. That is enough. The seed does not panic because it cannot see the tree yet. It does its work beneath the surface, and it opens, it reaches, it becomes what it was created to become in a place no one applauds. Your early mornings are like that. Hidden work, quiet work, work that may not look impressive to anyone else. But roots are not wasted just because they are unseen. The roots are what allow the tree to stand when the wind comes. Build your roots, build your mind, build your body, build your character, build your ability to stay calm when life gets loud. Build your ability to keep going when results arrive slowly. Build your ability to tell the truth, especially to yourself, because success without character is fragile. Achievement without peace is expensive, and productivity without purpose is just another form of escape. Do not wake up early merely to do more. Wake up early to do what matters. Ask yourself, what kind of person am I becoming through the way I spend my mornings? Are you becoming more honest, more prepared, more focused, more patient, more capable, more courageous? Or are you simply becoming more distracted with a better excuse? Your morning is not just a schedule. It is a vote. Every action is a vote for the person you are becoming. When you get up, you cast a vote for discipline. When you read, you cast a vote for growth. When you train, you cast a vote for strength. When you save, you cast a vote for freedom. When you tell the truth, you cast a vote for integrity. When you return after failure, you cast a vote for resilience. And no single vote decides everything, but repeated votes create an identity. One day you will no longer say, I am trying to become disciplined. You will say, I am disciplined. Not because you declared it once, because you lived it repeatedly. That is the bridge between desire and identity. Action, not perfect action, consistent action. A bridge is not crossed by standing beside it and talking about the other side. You cross it one step at a time. And every early morning is a step across that bridge, from wishing to working, from waiting to preparing, from doubting to proving, from being controlled by impulse to being guided by intention. There will be mornings when your body feels heavy. There will be mornings when you do not see the point. There will be mornings when the old habits call your name. Those are not signs to quit. Those are invitations to grow. Do not expect the old version of you to disappear politely. It will argue, it will bargain, it will remind you of comfort. Let it speak, then get up anyway. You do not have to win an argument with every thought in your mind. You only have to make the next right move. Get up anyway, move anyway, write anyway, study anyway, begin anyway. That phrase can change your life anyway. When the mood is gone, anyway. When the excitement fades anyway. When nobody notices anyway. When you doubt yourself anyway. When yesterday did not go well, anyway. Anyway is the language of discipline. And discipline is the fire that turns possibility into ability. Potential is beautiful, but potential alone can become painful. There are people carrying enormous potential who feel miserable because they never use it. They know there is more inside them. They feel it every time they see someone else doing what they once said they would do. They feel it in the quiet moments. They feel it when another year passes. Potential without action becomes pressure, but action releases the pressure. Action gives your gift somewhere to go. Action turns self-criticism into self-respect. Action turns regret into instruction. You cannot change the mornings you wasted. You cannot go back and recover every opportunity you ignored. You cannot make your younger self understand what you understand now, but you can stop wasting this morning. You can stop punishing yourself with the past and start training yourself for the future. Forgive yourself, not casually, not as an excuse to repeat the same pattern. Forgive yourself as a decision to stop carrying dead weight into a life that needs your full strength. You did what you knew how to do then. Now you know more, so do more. You were afraid then. Now move with fear beside you. You were distracted then. Now protect your attention. You broke promises then. Now keep one. That is how healing begins. Not by pretending the pain never happened, by refusing to let it become the author of your next chapter. Your past may explain you. It does not have to define you. Your circumstances may challenge you. They do not have to command you. Your emotions may be real. They do not have to be in control. You are allowed to feel tired. You are allowed to feel uncertain. You are allowed to feel overwhelmed. But you are not allowed to keep using those feelings as permanent permission to abandon yourself. You deserve more than your own excuses. Read that again in your mind. You deserve more than your own excuses. The world may underestimate you. People may doubt you. They may look at your quiet beginning and assume it is nothing. Let them. You do not need to announce every brick you lay. You do not need to explain every early night. You do not need permission to become serious about your life. Work quietly. Grow deeply. Let the result introduce the discipline, because eventually the work speaks. Eventually the body changes. The skill improves, the business grows, the mind becomes steadier, the debt decreases, the confidence returns, the conversation becomes easier, the opportunities arrive, not because the universe owed you anything, but because you prepared when nobody was looking. And when the moment came, you were ready. That is what the 5 a.m. mindset gives you, readiness. It teaches you to stop hoping life becomes easier and start becoming stronger. It teaches you that peace is often found on the other side of a kept promise. It teaches you that your standards are more powerful than your moods. It teaches you that you can love yourself enough to hold yourself accountable. So tonight, do not make a grand speech to yourself. Make a simple plan. Choose your wake-up time. Put the phone away. Lay out your clothes. Write down your one reason. Set the water out. Decide your first task. Then sleep with intention. And when the alarm sounds, remember this moment. Remember the person you said you wanted to become. Remember the pain of feeling stuck. Remember the regret of another day spent watching your life from the sidelines. Then sit up, put your feet on the floor, stand, not because it is easy, because it is time. Time to stop waiting for the perfect mood. Time to stop making comfort your highest goal. Time to stop treating your potential like a secret you are afraid to discover. The morning is coming. It always comes. The question is not whether the sun will rise. The question is whether you will rise with it. Wake up before the noise. Wake up before the excuses. Wake up before the world tells you who you have to be. Claim the hour. Keep the promise. Lay the brick. Take the step. Become the proof. Because one morning can become a pattern. A pattern can become a character, and character can become a life. Rise early. Rise quietly. Rise again. The day does not belong to the person who wakes up first. It belongs to the person who refuses to abandon their future.